strong and varied performances in the Best Actor category this year. We are talking Oscars here on Screen Junkies News. Today's episode of Screen Junkies News is brought to you by the Uncarrier, introducing T-Mobile One. All unlimited, all in. Hey everyone, I'm Alicia Malone, joined by Roth Cornet to talk about the Best Actor category at this year's Oscars. How's it going?
Very good. I'm excited. We're getting down to the Oscars. We're going to win. Alicia and I are going to eventually make a bet with each other, but it's very difficult because we're so aligned on this.
I feel like we've agreed with every category
across the board.
I think so. And this category is one that is, I think, very interesting and is going to be an interesting one to watch it go down, because I don't think it's as cut and dry as people may think, and it definitely has changed over the award season.
It has. This has actually been one of the more interesting categories in that way. Pardon me. This award season. Let's talk about it.
All right. Well, let's look at the nominees for Best Actor. You have Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea. He won both the BAFTA and the Golden Globe for drama. You've got Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge. I thought maybe he was going to be nominated for Silence, but two great performances there. Ryan Gosling for La La Land, who won the Golden Globe for musical or comedy. Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, and he has been nominated before. And Denzel Washington for Fences, who took home the Screen Actors Guild Award. Roth, what are you thinking?
You know, this one is, like we were just saying, we've been talking about the major categories and sort of counting them out, leading to Oscars. And this one is perhaps the trickiest for me. If you had asked me a month ago, I would have said Casey Affleck, right?
Yeah.
But
absolutely. I said it was a lock.
Yeah, said 100% a lock. He seemed on track to win, won BAFTA, won the Golden Globe. But Denzel Washington, as we were talking about earlier, won SAG. And I think one of the things that may have turned the tide, first of all, Denzel gives a great performance in this movie in Fences. Yeah. He won a Tony Award for this film. He directed it. This is a tremendous performance. But I think probably there was some controversy with Casey Affleck that really may have turned the tide on his chances.
Absolutely. The Casey Affleck story has been unfolding throughout award season. And the SAG Award, since 2003, every single Best Actor who's won at the SAGs has gone on to win Best Actor at the Oscars. So that's why it's such a strong predictor. Once again, like we've mentioned in previous videos, the Screen Actors Guild has the largest crossover with the Academy voting body. So a lot of the same people are voting for these two awards. So that means you often get the same winner.
Yes.
So I would have thought that it was Casey Affleck too, but now I've changed my answer and I'm predicting Denzel Washington post-SAG.
Yeah.
Now, both performances are very strong. Casey Affleck, obviously, he had to hold back so much in his performance to do grief, but in an understated way.
Yeah.
And Denzel Washington plays this really interesting character who at times you really like, at times you don't like. He is just a ferocious performer. You can see just him and his son going back and forth.
Yeah.
And he ages throughout the film. It's sort of a culmination of everything he does well. That kind of the smile that you feel like could turn any second.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, you brought this up in the beginning, and these are particularly these two, these are very different performances across the board in this category. But these two are distinctly unique in that Casey Affleck's performance could easily be written off because it is understated.
And I've seen a few people say that, well, he's just being himself, so it's not acting.
I absolutely don't agree. My two favorite performances from Casey Affleck are actually this and the assassination of Jesse James by the coward
Robert Ford.
Longest
title ever.
Longest title ever created in history, but it's a beautiful, understated performance, and I've talked about this before. That's some of my favorite acting. In fact, it's some of my favorite filmmaking.
Yeah.
Whereas Denzel, who is a favorite for the Academy and a favorite among actors, and rightfully so, he's an unbelievably talented actor. This is it's a play brought to the screen. It is a very actorly performance, and it is larger than life. both deserved.
Both deserved. And then you have Ryan Gosling, who is in the incredibly successful La La Land. He sings, he dances. He actually has incredible comic timing.
Yeah.
And has to, I think it's really, he plays off Emma's character because I see the film as being very much from Mia's perspective.
Yes.
Rather than Seb's. And Viggo Mortensen, we're going to talk more about in a second. But Andrew Garfield, I was very impressed with what he did in Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, it's interesting because I am such a fan of Ryan Gosling's. I'm a fan of the choices that he makes as an actor, the types of films that he's drawn to. I'm always interested to see what he's interested in.
What he's going to do next.
Yeah, what he might do. And I loved him in La La Land and The Nice Guys this year. So I'm glad that he is getting some acclaim. I'm glad that he's nominated. I'm not surprised that he probably won't win for this one, given the field. Andrew Garfield, man, the award season has been silent on silence.
Really surprising.
And we're
to me.
seeing a lot of comments about that. I'm really surprised as well. We had Leonard Maltin in here, and you guys talked a little bit about why critics are silent on silent. But what's your take?
Well, I mean, because the thought was about the screeners coming so late, but when it comes to Oscars, the voting happens much
Exactly.
later. So I don't think that that is the case. But by the time voting comes around for nominations for the Oscars, pretty much the main contenders are set by previous awards. So I think with it being left out of contention early, then it dropped out completely. I was still thinking that Martin Scorsese at least would get a nomination, or I thought Andrew Garfield could get a nomination for Silence because I thought he was brilliant in that film.
He was, and I'm surprised. I mean, it also could have been one of those cases where they did a twofer, you know, which so often
it's like
happens.
kind of this, but kind of that. You know, back in the day, the Oscars, they used to be nominated for two performances.
Yeah, so it's a little bit. I don't think Andrew Garfield is going. That would be such a dark horse win, frankly. But it is interesting how little buzz there is around Silence in the award season,
particularly because it's a Scorsese film. So I think the last Scorsese film that didn't get a Best Picture nomination was Shutter Island, and that was a little while ago. Well, let's look at our poll results. So we put these out on Facebook. Who you guys think will win Best Actor? And the winner was Denzel Washington.
Ta-da!
Agree with me, followed by Andrew Garfield, then Ryan Gosling, Casey Affleck, and Viggo Mortensen. And we're also looking at the comments below the poll, and we both wanted to talk about one in particular that we agreed on from Alexander, who said, "Seems like I'm the only one who liked Viggo Mortensen's performance." No, I loved it.
Not at all.
I loved it.
Love it.
I don't think he will win against the mighty power of Denzel or Casey, but I think definitely Denzel. But I was so happy for him to get nominated for this role. It's a small movie.
Yeah, it is. And we've said this over and over again. The big hope, of course, is that more people will see Captain Fantastic. And this is a performance that combines actually a lot of the elements of the other performances. There is great comedy in this film. There's surprising comedy in this film. And he has to be so committed to the role for the jokes to kind of play, because he's not making fun of himself, and he's not making fun of the environment that he's in or the beliefs of this character. He's just so committed to it, but it's funny because it's insane.
And it's emotional as
and
well.
It's quite
and he's
emotional.
A father, so that plays out quite a few times here and there.
Exactly. And he does have an arc in this movie. He unabashedly believes in the rightness of his point of view to start. And then by the end of the film, I think he's willing to let go a little bit, especially for his children to make their own choices. It's a gorgeous film, and it's really fun to watch. It's not heavy or burdensome at all.
Yeah, I agree. So great performance. Definitely worth watching Captain Fantastic. But we're both saying, and the poll is also saying Denzel Washington. So pop down Denzel if you're doing your Oscar pool, and hopefully it will be right. Roth, Cornet, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been fun counting down Oscars.
Really, really fun. I love talking about Oscars any chance I get. And what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Who do you think should win Best Actor Drama? Who do you think will win Best Actor Drama? We love to hear from you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye. We'd like to thank our sponsor, T-Mobile. T-Mobile One is all unlimited, all in. Switch today.